And a happy Wednesday, television family. We have gathered around the warmth of our high-definition televisions to start another program on this Wednesday, the 16th day of November 2022. I'm Dan Kuntz, and we're live here from Studio 9 in downtown Wenatchee. It's 28 degrees. Yesterday's high, Tuesday's high was 30. Yesterday's low was 28. That was it. We had a 3-degree difference between the low and the high. At 11:40 yesterday morning, we got to 30 degrees at 11:40 on Tuesday morning. And we stayed at 30 degrees until 4:30 this morning. It didn't move. It just stayed at 30 degrees. The sun never did burn off the clouds and the fog. It didn't happen. We don't see that too often. It happens, but we don't see it too often. And when it does happen, it's usually in January and February when we really get the air inversion. In fact, because of the air inversion, there's now a burn ban in effect. We'll talk about that when we get to the news. Election results, more numbers were dumped at the county auditor's office last night. And it's all but over for the elections. No changes. But we'll give you those details in the news when we get to the news in the not-too-distant future. Plus, we'll have sports. Wenatchee Wild have a Wednesday game tonight, 6:05. Salmon Arm Silverbacks are in town. Not a good road trip, by the way, for the Cougars at Prairie View. We'll get to that in sports as well. Everything else you need to get your day going, 2 interviews. We get a bonus interview today. In the back half of the program, we're going to be talking to Tanya Hamill of Health Alliance Northwest. They come this time of the year, a couple times a year, to talk about, well, it's Medicare enrollment time again for you folks 65 and older. You know about that. Tanya will give you some of the details. And then Night in a Box, just a couple nights away, this Friday night at the Save Mart parking lot. Sean Arrington from the Lighthouse Christian Ministry and Kelly Kennedy from Impact Events will be joining me. We went to the Save Mart parking lot on Monday to record the interview. So you get 2 interviews today because we're in that kind of a mood on this Wednesday. Let's see what we got. Ain't much, but we'll see what we can do with our cameras here on this cloudy, foggy Wednesday morning. Let's see what we have. The good captain will be pushing the buttons. And there we go. From the heights. Looks like he's got that camera zoomed out a little bit. I mentioned we got the brand new replacement camera for the camera that went on the Fritz a couple of months ago. It's in Wenatchee. Eventually, the guys will go up there and put that camera back in, so we'll have our normal camera that we've had for years back up and operating here in the not-too-distant future. But those guys are busy, so they'll get around to it, I'm sure. Clouds and fog. We're still about 5 minutes away from sunrise, and it ain't going to be much of one, as you can tell. And this pattern's going to continue, just kind of cloudy and glucky and ugh. Anyway, camera number 2. The good captain is not ready, apparently. I can hear him sliding over. Ooh, that's a nice view of, I don't know, I want to say maybe the Navarre Coulee, but I really don't know. That's the Navarre Coulee camera. Okay, heading on up to Lake Chelan. Lake Chelan, you're at 27 degrees. Temperatures are just pretty much everywhere right at the 20s. 28 in Wenatchee, 28 in Ellisburg, 28 in Ephrata, 26 in Moses Lake, 27 in Manson, 29 in Chelan. Clouds and fog everywhere. Camera 3. Again, he's still not ready. Ooh, a spectacular view. I want to say maybe, I don't know, I would say Black Mountain. That's the top of Black Mountain, high above Peshastin. Is that pointed to the north, Captain, or is that towards Leavenworth? We don't know, because you can't see anything outside of that. That is the very definition of low clouds and fog over the upper valley. So more dry, more cold, and finally camera 4. That is really cool. I want to say Billy Goat. I want to say Billy Goat. I want to say Billy Goat. Waiting for confirmation from the captain. Waiting for confirmation from the captain. Anyway, beautiful sunrise there. That's from the airplane. That's from Chopper 12. That's our newly acquired helicopter. Beautiful sunrise. I want to say Billy Goat, but the captain won't tell me. We'll just have to go without knowledge there. So he says it might be. It might be Wednesday, too, Tucker, for that matter. Looking for a change in the weather? It's coming, but you're going to have to pack a little patience. In fact, for Thanksgiving week, things are going to get a little active. Things will start changing late on Sunday, late in the weekend. Things will start getting mixed up a little bit. By the time we get to Monday and Tuesday, we start talking about some light snow. Thanksgiving proper, quite active at times. In fact, we could have some snow, measurable snow here in the valley. Certainly lots of snow in the mountains. In fact, travel for next week, for Thanksgiving week, especially Wednesday and Thanksgiving proper Thursday could be quite dicey in the mountain passes. And of course, Wednesday is a very heavy travel day for the area highways. It looks like they're going to get quite a bit of snow on the mountain passes on Wednesday. Again, we'll know more as we get closer to the weekend and the computers can all get together and really give us a general idea of what's going to be happening. From the National Weather Service, we do it again. They say partly sunny. Now, we were supposed to have the clouds depart and the fog burn off and the sun make a little action yesterday. That never happened. So we're going to hedge our bets a little bit on this with a high of 34, 24 for the overnight low. Cloudy on Thursday. Ignore the sunshine there with a high of about 37 degrees, 19 for the overnight low. Lots of sunshine. They tell us on Friday with clear skies will make the overnight lows a little cooler than we normally see. All these temperatures are below normal. We're supposed to be about 43 or 44 for the afternoon highs and the overnight low about 31. So again, it's this cold weather pattern, which has been prevalent for quite some time, is going to continue. We're going to be creeping up to near normal temperatures by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday. The big change in the weather will start Sunday afternoon. We start talking maybe a little bit of light snow, possible. Not going to stick around, obviously, with those afternoon highs well above freezing. But things are going to get a little more active around the Thanksgiving holiday. The potential for things getting active anyway exists, and at least the overnight lows will be a little bit more tolerable. So there you go. That's your forecast from the National Weather Service. It's 7 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break, and when we come back, provided we're still on the air, we'll have the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I believe we've been coming to Abby's for 56 years, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
56 years.
Remembering all the events as a family and a community that we spent at Abby's.
Excellent and delicious food at an affordable price. We're delighted that we live close enough to be able to be a frequent customer.
And we are.
And we are. In fact, we've got orders to bring home a giant pizza when we leave here tonight.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
8 minutes after the hour, cloudy, foggy, 28 degrees. We're hoping to see some sunshine this afternoon. Not very warm. High of only mid-30s anyway. More sunshine is in the forecast as we get towards the weekend. And as I've already mentioned, things will get a little active and warmer next week. Let's begin with this story. For the first time in a dozen years, Chelan County is going to have a new sheriff. It's a done deal. Deputy Mike Morrison has held the lead since election night over the incumbent Sheriff Brian Burnett. Last night, the latest vote totals showed Morrison holding his 54% advantage, and statistically speaking, Burnett cannot win this election because there's only 233 ballots remaining to be counted. Morrison accused Burnett of damaging morale in the sheriff's department and contributing to high turnover. After 12 years in office, Burnett now has to make way for his former deputy. Burnett says he's unlikely to return to his commissioned service rank under Morrison's administration. Brian Burnett says he plans to seek a job perhaps in the private sector. Other races around the county, and Chelan County anyway, they're all but finished anyway. Pretty narrow numbers, but again, the odds of Ann Hesberg catching Sean Smith don't exist anymore. He has a 378-vote lead, Sean Smith does, with only 233 uncounted ballots remaining. So the Republican Smith will be replacing Bob Boogert as county commissioner for District 2. Neither candidate, by the way, has declared victory or not in that race that you see on your screen. In the race for Chelan County Clerk, current Deputy Clerk Sandra Arachiga is still running behind DSHS Program Specialist Marty Young. That office manages all the records filed in the court system in Chelan County. Young, who's also the secretary of the Chelan County Republican Party, holds a margin of more than 500 votes over Arachiga, who ran as an independent. And again, there's only 233 ballots left to be counted. And the outcome for district court judge appears solid. John Volan will take the seat, being left vacated by the retiring Judge Roy Four, the private practice attorney, outpacing Deputy Prosecutor Alan Blackman for that position. But yesterday afternoon, Blackman was offered and accepted the district court judge's position. That is being vacated by Judge Kyle Mott. Mott is leaving the bench early next month. He's going to return to private practice. So Chelan County Commissioners will officially appoint Alan Blackman at their November 21st meeting. By the way, the final ballot count will take place next Tuesday. The election will be certified on November 29th. The Christian podcaster accused of sexually assaulting other men in his Bible study group has now been charged with 8 felonies. Chelan County prosecutors brought charges on Monday against 69-year-old Michael Edward Wilson. The charges: second-degree rape, attempted rape, indecent liberties, voyeurism, and related criminal counts. Wenatchee police say Wilson sexually assaulted 2 members of his Bible study group that he led at his home in Sunny Slope, sometimes doing so while they were either intoxicated or asleep. Wilson is a former Wenatchee High School academic counselor and youth pastor. He has also been co-host of a faith-based self-help podcast since 2020. Wilson remains held in the Chelan County Regional Jail on a $1 million bond. He's due to be arraigned next week. The Waterville Town Council member accused of fleeing from police and witness tampering will not face trial until the new year. 34-year-old Cody Pregshot was arraigned on the 2 felony charges on Monday, as well as a gross misdemeanor charge of making a false statement to police. His next hearing is not scheduled, by the way, until January. That's when his trial date will be set in Douglas County Superior Court. Pregshot allegedly drove away from a sheriff's deputy attempting a traffic stop back in October, then told investigators he wasn't in Douglas County at the time and convinced a potential witness to lie on his behalf. He's been a council member in Waterville since 2019. Prosecutors also moved to exclude Douglas County Superior Court Judge Brian Huber from hearing that case. That means Pregshot will have to appear before a visiting judge or a court commissioner. Investigators have completed their report on the fatal June 4th shooting of a California man by Wenatchee police. 4 police officers opened fire on 32-year-old Zachary C. Rutherford, who was allegedly holding a knife and approaching the officers after they responded to a burglary report on Western Avenue. Now it's up to Chelan County Prosecutor Robert Sealby to determine whether the police use of force was in fact justified. Rutherford suffered from mental health issues. He'd been staying at an East Wenatchee assisted living facility at the time of his death. The incident was investigated by the North Central Washington Special Investigations Unit. It was one of the 2 fatal shootings by Wenatchee police this year. And finally, yesterday afternoon, the Washington State Department of Ecology, real quickly, has issued a burn ban, a stage 1 burn ban for all of North Central Washington. It went into effect yesterday. It's for Okanagan, Chelan, Kittitas, and Douglas counties. As you know by now, we have high pressure, air stagnation. What does that mean? A stage 1 burn ban. No outdoor burning, no agricultural burning, and you can't use an uncertified wood stove unless it is your only source of heat. They will reassess that stage 1 burn ban for this area later on today. That's what's making news at 14 minutes after the hour. It's already been a busy news day, and we're only 7:15 in the morning. It's going to be a long, busy day for the guys in the bullpen, but they're good. And with a preview of tonight's newscast, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we will bring you the latest local vote count in a couple of tight races from last Tuesday's election. Mostly cloudy with unseasonably cool temperatures once again today, with some breezy conditions possible tomorrow. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom will have more on the Big 9 District Bowling Tournament, and we'll have more on tonight's wild game against the Silverbacks. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. And if you want to chime in with a news tip, and we get emails, and we've gotten some pretty important and pertinent news stories because of you folks, get a hold of us. We'd love to hear from you. If you go to our Facebook page, you can use the Messenger app. You can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com. There's a contact us icon at the page. You can't miss that. You can email us directly, too, if you so desire, news@ncwlife.com. WUWV20221116.com. We got Cougar men's basketball, Gonzaga women's basketball coming up in sports, plus the Seahawks get the weekend off. The Obscure Holiday. Today in history, some celebrity birthdays and opinion from Mike Mad Dog McGnatty. We'll talk to the good folks at Health Alliance Northwest, and we'll preview Night in the Box. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Wednesday edition on the NCW Life channel.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in East Wenatchee, a place for the entire family. Open daily for lunch and dinner. We use only the finest ingredients, prepared fresh when you order. The full menu includes your choice of over 20 gourmet beef or chicken burgers. And catch your favorite game in their full-service lounge while sipping on an ice-cold beer. Bob's Burgers and Brew. Fast, friendly service. We will see you there.
Funny thing about time, when you're young, summers seem to last forever. And then, before you know it, you're attending more retirement parties than you are baby showers. This is when you'll appreciate our own homegrown, nonprofit, Heritage Heights, working to provide every senior housing option our families might need, right here in the beautiful Lake Chelan Valley. Find out more at heritageheights.org.
17 minutes after the hour, sports. The Cougar men got off to a slow start, and they ended slow, and during the game it was slow. They never quite got their footing. They lost to Prairie View A&M in men's college basketball last night, as you see there, 70-59 the final. TJ Bamba led the way for the Cougars, 16 points. Wazoo losing for the second consecutive game. Coach Kyle Smith says he knew it would be a tough trip to Prairie View.
We knew it was going to be a really tough challenge being on the road second night with a team that doesn't get a lot of opportunities like this, and they knew they'd take advantage of it. They played really hard and really outcompeted us. Can't put it any other way. And sometimes you tip your hat to them, but I thought we should have a little more fight in us, but we got humbled tonight.
DJ Rodman, a late scratch from last night's game, said he didn't feel very well, and that forced Coach Smith to change his lineup and give more playing time to the younger players.
I don't know. We have to maybe look at how we're starting a little bit, just to get the right thing. But we're still new to each other a little bit, and we had some for two scrimmages at Texas State. I think we probably a little full of ourselves, or at least we got exposed in these last two games, and we got a tough schedule, so we're going to have to regroup and get better.
Next up for the Cougars, they'll be in Spokane on Monday to take on Eastern Washington. The Gonzaga women, they're now 3-0, 66-64 the final over Wyoming. Yvonne Ejim scoring inside the paint with 10 seconds left to give the Bulldogs the victory. She also led the way. She had a career-high 26 points. Gonzaga heads to the Bahamas Saturday. Not a bad place to be in November. They'll be taking on Haley Van Lith and the Louisville Cardinals. Wenatchee Wild back on the ice tonight against Salmon Arm. The Silverbacks are third in the interior division of the BCHL. They are 11-5-0-1 on the year. The voice of the Wild, Austin Drowdy, says Salmon Arm has reached across the country to find some of their talent.
Salmon Arm has a lot of guys from some of the eastern prep schools that they've got connections with out east. Thayer Academy, Berkshire School, some of the ones that you may not have heard of if you're not looking for them, but once you start following a few teams, they'll pop up every now and then. So a lot of talent on the Salmon Arm Silverbacks roster. They'll come in on Wednesday night, Faith and Family Night, hockey bingo, play along with the game, and bring a book for the book drive, and we'll get you a ticket for a future home game.
6:05 is when they drop the puck, as he mentioned. It is Faith and Family Night. Tickets at WenatcheeWildHockey.com. The Wenatchee girls bowling team off to a 1-0 start in league play. They won yesterday. They topped Sunnyside at Eastmont Lanes, 1,850 pins to 1,173 pins. Top scorers for Wenatchee: Sophia Johnson rolled a 187. Charlene Campbell rolled a 191. Ava Porter rolled a 192. Seahawks get the week off after that long trip to Munich last weekend. Of course, they lost to Tampa Bay, but they still lead the NFC West by a half a game over San Francisco. Coach Pete Carroll says the bye comes at a good time. Players get to think about the season so far and get healthy.
Because when you take a step back, perspectives can grow, and then we can see things a little more clearly, and the players will understand stuff. And for the young players, I think Kobe Bryant, we may be able to see him make a jump here in this little break that we have, just because once you get away from it, you can see a little more clearly. So that's one part of it. We go into this by fairly healthy, and so that means we can come out of it even better. And so that's a big. It could be a big boost to us as other teams continue to struggle to stay healthy and all that. So hopefully we can make that come to life, and it just helps. It helps us in all ways. So we're gonna get clearer, and we'll come back fresh and ready to go.
Seahawks are 6-4 on the year. Coach Carroll says they're in good position over the final 7 games to make a run at the division championship.
Okay, we positioned ourselves here, and we all know that we're here, but we're not nearly as good as we could be. And let's recommit as we come back to really go for it, because we have enough firepower, we have enough health. We're growing as a team coming together that can really take advantage of a first half positioning. And we'll see where we wind up with the Niners, after this week, but. Everything's ahead of us, and we are in control of everything, and so that's all we could ever ask for. Whether you won, you're 8-0 or 9-0 or 10-0, or you're on top in our division. Winning the division is a huge goal for us, and it is the only really goal that we deal with in trying to own the West, and so we'll go about that by coming back with a really firm commitment, and everybody feeling good and excited about it. This is a good mentality we have right now, even though we had to give up a game right there. We come out of it okay.
Seahawks next game, the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend. Sunday the 26th, they'll take on at home the Las Vegas Raiders, formerly the Oakland Raiders, formerly the Los Angeles Raiders, formerly the Oakland Raiders. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 22 minutes after the hour. Happy National Fast Food Day today. Fast food, as we know it, is 101 years old. White Castle, the first restaurant to offer fast food to the masses. It was founded in Wichita, Kansas back in 1921. What did they do that made them different from everything else? White Castle, first of all, hamburgers. 101 years ago, they charged a nickel a piece, and you could see them make the burger. Kind of like you do now, there was food fast and quick. That was the big thing. That's why they got the word fast food. But the big change in the world of fast food was the McDonald's brothers at their restaurant in California, where they came up with the idea of assembly line food making, assembly line process. They could run at top efficiency. At one point, McDonald's, the original McDonald's, they could crank out a hamburger, an order of fries, and a Coke in 20 seconds. Pretty darn quick. I have fun facts about fast food. Wouldn't you know it? What is the largest fast food chain in the world? They have 41,600 locations. You want to guess? Subway. 41,600. It's the largest fast food chain in the world if you go by locations. In 1970, Americans spent $6 billion on fast food in 1970. In 2017, we spent $208 billion in fast food, and the numbers most recently available to me last year, we spent $225 billion in America alone on fast food. 90% of America's children will visit a McDonald's restaurant in any given month. Speaking of that, McDonald's is the world's largest toy distributor. I'm not surprised there. 5% of all the potatoes grown in this country will be a McDonald's French fry eventually. McDonald's is the largest employer in the entire country of Brazil. I kid you not. And by the way, how many fast food restaurants are there in the United States? Roughly 300,000, give or take a couple. I didn't have time to count them all. Happy National Fast Food Day today. 24 minutes after the hour today in history. We always do states when they join the Union. Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping around. Oklahoma, the Rodgers and Hammerstein song, is the state song of Oklahoma, which joined the Union in this state in 1907 when the Indian Territory and the Oklahoma Territory joined to form Oklahoma. That makes it the 46th state of the Union. Fun facts about Oklahoma. Oklahoma has towns by the name of Loco. There's a Cookie Town, Oklahoma. There's a Bushy Head, Oklahoma. Corn, Oklahoma. Moon, Oklahoma, and 41, Oklahoma. Oklahoma has 200 man-made lakes, more than any other state. They got 200 lakes that were made by guys. Oklahoma is the prison capital of the world. This was an amazing statistic. A little over 1,000 of every 100,000 residents in Oklahoma is behind bars, either in prison, penitentiaries, or just plain jail. That is the highest incarceration rate in the world. Not just in the country, but in the world. That's pretty remarkable. So if you break the law in Oklahoma, you're probably going to jail. The Oklahoma State Meal. This is the Oklahoma State Meal. Stay with me here. Fried okra, squash, cornbread, barbecued pork, biscuits, sausage and gravy, grits, corn, strawberries, chicken fried steak, pecan pie, and black-eyed peas. That is the official Oklahoma State Meal. So we'll close with this statistic about Oklahoma. 36.4% of all adults in Oklahoma are obese. Happy birthday, Oklahoma. 115 years old today. Happy birthday to the Federal Reserve Bank, the very first one ever. Opened in Lower Manhattan on Wall Street on this date back in 1914. There are, 14 or 15 Federal Reserve Banks, by the way, in this country, ranging from San Francisco to New York City. So the Fed is 115 years old today. And 30 years ago today, let's throw up the picture of Pete and Eric. That's Pete and Eric. That's Pete on the left. Eric is on the right. Pete Watling was a farmer in Hoxne, England. Eric Laws, pictured on the right, was his farmer buddy who lived next door. Well, on this date, November 16th, 1992, 30 years ago today, Pete Watling lost his hammer out in the fields. He lost it. And he really liked his hammer, and he knew his next-door neighbor and buddy, Eric Laws, had a metal detector. So he said, Eric, can you come over with your metal detector so I can find my hammer? Well, Eric found his hammer. Eric Laws also found 14,865 gold, silver, and bronze coins from the Roman age, basically the 2nd century, valued at $4.3 million. So the next time you see somebody out and about with a metal detector, don't give them a bad time. By the way, they also found the hammer, in case you're curious. Let's do some birthdays at the bottom of the hour. The last king of Hawaii, and I want to get his name correct, David Lamila Kana Nakaama Manahani'ini Nakaona Ale Ana Umanana Kalauka. Kalauka, the last king of Hawaii, born this date in 1836. How would you put that on your driver's license? It was 1836. I probably didn't have to worry about that. The last king of Hawaii. I wonder if he still has relatives who want the throne back. And happy birthday to Diana Krall. 58 years old today. Didn't know anything about Diana. Then I dated a gal who was really into Diana Krall, and I became a big fan of hers. She's 58 years old today. Since the death of Ella Fitzgerald, I would say she's the first lady of jazz. That helps. 28 minutes after the hour, gonna take a break. Got an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and then you get 2 interviews on this Wednesday. You're going to hear from Tanya Hamill from Health Alliance Northwest. If you haven't made your Medicare Part A, B, C, D decisions yet, you're running out of time. That deadline's coming up. Tanya's going to give you those details. And then Sean Arrington from the Lighthouse Christian Ministries and Kelly Kennedy from Impact Events gives you one more reminder that Night in a Box is this Friday night. Those 2 interviews are coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Anchi Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The agents of Kennedy Real Estate Group are committed to providing the ideal client experience. We believe in the power of relationships. Why? Because we don't just work here, we live here. From the nonprofits we serve, the parks where we play, and the local businesses we support, our team understands the value of living in the Wenatchee Valley. Let's begin your real estate story.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams real. When you work with a world-class agent at Coldwell Banker, you benefit from trusted guidance and our revolutionary Seller's Assurance Program to make your home sale more rewarding than ever. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Western Christianity is focused on personal sin, considering the things that I have done wrong, saying that you're sorry to Jesus, and asking to be forgiven. Well, what about the sin of social injustice? Many of the lessons in the Bible aren't focusing on whether or not you stole a candy bar, told a lie, or said a bad word, but instead, a lot of messages, particularly in the Old Testament minor prophets and the major prophets too, they address things of social injustice. Now, the Old Testament prophets were big on chastising God's people for focusing on themselves and ignoring the poor, the hungry, and society's outcasts. Maybe the church in America should start being more concerned about racial prejudice, economic inequality, and things like whether or not we are a society that cares for the dispossessed, instead of wondering if Jesus is someone's personal Lord and Savior. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a four-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting. I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Welcome back to Wake Up in Anchi Valley twice a year, this time of the year. Our good friends from Health Alliance Northwest comes by with their paid promotional announcement because they like my show. Don't make that a bad judgment about them. They're good folks. Tanya, introduce yourself. Tanya is from Health Alliance Northwest. I'm not going to do her job title because by the time I'm done with her job title, the interview would be over. Tanya, introduce yourself to our television family.
It is a mouthful. My name is Tanya Hamill. I am the community broker and partner liaison with Health Alliance Northwest out here in our Wenatchee Valley. We are a Medicare Advantage plan that does service the Okanagan, Grant, Douglas, and Chelan counties. And we are here to help you guys figure out this Medicare stuff this time of year.
You like your job? You like helping people figure it out? Because there's a lot to figure out.
There is a lot to figure out, and
Yeah.
I really do. My main focus with my job is education and community outreach, so you will see me at health fairs and such like that. And yeah, we are here to help you sift through this crazy information.
And you can't kick the can down the road anymore, folks, because December 7th is the deadline. When you folks came and visited me last month, it was like, oh, December 7th. It's so long away. Well, it ain't so long away anymore. It's like
It's around the
it's
corner.
just a few weeks from now. So everybody gets Medicare. You've been paying into it, so Medicare is coming your way, 65 or older. What Tanya's here to talk about is Medicare is usually never not enough. The supplemental plans that you need to, I don't know, juice the pot a little bit more, I guess is the way to put it, right?
Yes, yeah.
And that's what you're here for.
Absolutely, yep. So original Medicare is not going to cover all of those health expenses, and that's kind of where we come in, or a supplement plan. But yeah, if you are on original Medicare alone, they cover your 80%, and then you're responsible for your 20% of all costs of your medical costs. So yeah, if you end up having yourself a pretty big surgery or a horrible accident, something like that, you're looking at a guessing game of trying to figure out what that percentage is going to cost you.
And prescription drugs, maybe the biggest of all, is the one that scares people the most. Is I'm on medication. I'll be taking this medication for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. And original Medicare does not cover Part D prescription drugs. So Medicare Advantage, we like to call that Part C. So you have your Part A, which is your hospital, and that's going to be your hospital, your hospice at home care, and also your skilled nursing facility type of care. But then your Part B covers your medical, which is all those doctor visits, any lab draws, things like that get done in the clinics. And then you want to have some kind of prescription drug coverage, which would be a separate plan you'd have to purchase. And then you can also look at that Part C, which is that Medicare Advantage, which we call the Advantage because it's all one nice big package there. Most Advantage plans will cover and have that Part D prescription coverage worked into the plan already.
And we're going to concentrate our conversation with Tanya basically on the people who are already in this system. And do I want to tweak it? Do I want to leave it exactly the way it is? What's changed in the last year? Which is pretty much, most people, my guess, is tweak it a little bit, right? Just out of common sense.
Oh, yeah. So this time of year, October 15th through December 7th, annual enrollment period, it comes every year. Medicare beneficiaries that are already enrolled in plans, this is the perfect time for them to be looking at what other plans are out there, what other options might be going on with their own plan that they're already on. If they are already part of a plan, they'll get what's called an annual notice of changes document, and that's going to show side by side, this is what your plan looks like this year, this is what's happening next year. And that gives you the idea, if you don't like this, definitely time to start looking for something else. And that's a major part of what we like to do is this time of year, we're here at the office, we're local and happy to help. So always want to have folks come on in and see us if they're not sure. Another great way to look up, if you don't want to come in and talk, is Medicare.gov. That's going to show you any and all plans that are available in your area. You just pop in your zip code. Pretty easy.
Even if you're happy with what you got and it's going to roll over automatically if you don't do anything by December 8th, you still got to take a look at it. You still got to do your homework.
Now is the time. If you think back during the year, if you had any discrepancies or any troubles, or if maybe you're not using your plan all that much. I know a lot of the Medicare supplements out there, you're paying a pretty good amount monthly, and you're really relatively healthy. You're not using those benefits. So if you're not using those benefits and you're paying an arm and a leg, it's a good thing to look at other options where you may not have to pay nearly as much and still have good coverage.
Do a lot of married couples, 65 and older, kind of stay together on this, and they sit through and they talk it out, that kind of deal? Because everybody has different health issues, but
Absolutely, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will come in as couples. A lot of them, as couples, we do things together. Most of them are, doing those things together. So if both of them are pretty active, pretty healthy, no big deal. It's an easy decision for them. Something that fits them affordably, and then move on together. But there are definitely, especially as we age, we become caretakers to our wives or our husbands. But yeah, they definitely will look at, a more, how do you put that? More, not coverage, because all of our plans have the same kind of coverage, but one where maybe your co-payments are a little bit smaller if you're using those services a lot, if you're going to see the doctor a lot, versus one where your co-payments might be a little bit higher, but the premium is a little less. So there you have it. If you got a lot of medical conditions, you might look at a plan that might be a little higher premium monthly, but your co-payments are going to be a lot less than a lesser premium plan.
People are being bombarded with information. You see the ads. Mostly that I've known, my experience has been with my various family friends and stuff. They're getting bombarded with flyers in the mail. Is it almost an too much information? Does it get confusing? Does it get frustrating for clients?
Absolutely.
Do they just say, Tanya, this is crazy.
Absolutely.
Please make it easy.
Yeah, no, we have folks come in and they bring all of this stuff and they say, what is this? What is this? Is this you guys? Is this somebody else? What is this? And that's what we're here for. So our office hours are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. We're just off of Chelan
that nice
Avenue
big
down
brick
there.
building, yeah. So.
Yep, 411 North Chelan. Even if you're not a member, you're welcome to bring your information in and talk to us. We are here to help you. It does get really overwhelming. We have people come in and almost in tears, just like, I've been told I have to make a change or I need to do something. You don't have to, but if you want to, now is the time. But how our media and everything can get real pushy sometimes.
It's always a good idea. We've talked about this in the past. To do your homework in advance, go to the websites and be prepared.
Yes.
It simplifies things greatly. It really does. Your website's fantastic, and there are others as well.
Yes.
That really saves you guys a lot of time and effort, and it gives you a chance to do your homework at your own leisure.
Yes. So Medicare.gov is a really good one. If you're just going, those folks down at Health Alliance, I don't know, maybe I better see what my other options are. Medicare.gov is a great one. Again, you can find the plans that are available to you, and they will be by your county or your zip code. So what might be available over in Kittitas County is not going to be available here in Chelan sometimes. So, but anyway, yes, if you can sift through that and kind of get to where you need to be, Medicare.gov is going to show you those plans available, and then it's also going to kind of break down and compare for you. So Medicare.gov is a really good one, and it's non-biased. So.
And like almost all insurance plans, no matter what it is, if you want to have low premiums, you're going to have a higher copay, and if you want you'll willing to pay a high premium, then you have a lower copay. That's all that common sense that comes into consideration.
If especially since you're aging in, you're 65, you've worked your whole life, you kind of know how insurance works. But yeah, and some folks, maybe their husband took care of most of it and they're gone now, or something like that. Please come down and talk to us.
Yeah, and that's maybe the best thing to do is just go down and sit down and talk to Tanya. And there's a whole office full of professionals who are doing it there, and they're gonna. It's as customizable to the customer as it can possibly be.
Absolutely.
There is not. That's the one thing about this. This is not a one-size-fits-all thing. It doesn't work that way.
No, absolutely not. It's a very personal decision. We even suggest to folks, when they're aging in, maybe they're still working, maybe they are still covered under their insurance plan with their employer at the time. Talk to a financial advisor. Talk to your HR services through your employer. Talk to them about, planning for the future and can I afford to retire right now? If they decide they don't want to retire right now at 65, they'll automatically get their Part A through Social Security. But they can defer Part B. They don't have to start paying into Part B yet.
And a little checkup with your primary care physician is probably not a bad idea either, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just to make sure that everything's going to be on the up and up. Because once you're in, you got it for the year. There's no going back.
Yes.
So
that's correct. So, yep, once a year. And that's another beautiful part is just like when you were working, you do have that option to revisit and decide, is this still working for me? So that's this time of year. That's the time to be doing it.
And if you wake up December 8th and you didn't do it, you're out of luck. I mean, it's as simple as that. The number is going to go on your screen, 877-561-1463, 877-561-1463, or drop by Tanya's office. Again, they're at the corner of Chelan and 5th in Wenatchee. You can't miss it. It's the big building that says Health Alliance Northwest on it. Did we touch on everything before I let you go? I think we got a lot of good information out there.
I think we did, yeah. Yeah.
By the way, you're good at this.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. So.
Well, I took a few pointers from you there.
Yeah. Say hi to Jessica and the whole crew down there at Health Alliance Northwest. And when I turn 65, 25 years from now, I'll be calling these folks. Or 7 years from now, whichever comes first. Thanks, Tanya. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Green Motion is Central Washington's home for affordable e-bikes. They carry 5 models of Class 2 e-bikes, including folding models that fit right in the trunk of your car, and full-size mountain bikes with front suspension. All e-bikes include 5 levels of pedal assist and a throttle, allowing you to travel up to 30 miles with ease. The USB port can charge cell phones and other electronics right from your bike. You fell in love with your first bike, now fall in love again with a new Green Motion e-bike, located in the Mills Brothers building on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue.
The holiday season is coming up quick, and life can get hectic. Let Merry Maids help simplify yours. You expect a lot, and Merry Maids delivers more. They'll make your home or business sparkle for holiday parties, special events, and family gatherings. They'll customize the cleaning to fit your needs and your budget. Merry Maids are cleaning experts. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Best of all, your satisfaction is always guaranteed. Visit online, merrymaids.com, and call for a free estimate. Then you can relax. It's done.
Welcome back to the program. In just a couple of nights right here at the Save Mart parking lot, sometimes called Sav Mart. I have to go in there and tell them the E fell off their sign. Night in the Box is back. It didn't really go away, but it was a modified Night in the Box because of COVID protocols. Changes have been made. You know Sean Arrington, and you know Kelly Kennedy. Kelly Kennedy from Impact Events is helping coordinate, taking care of some of the logistics, which helps you a lot, having Kelly on board to take some of the details away from you, Sean. She's been a tremendous help for you, hasn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. I can actually continue to reach people and minister and hopefully make a difference while Kelly does the hard and fun stuff.
And she's done a pretty good job of twisting arms, because you've got folks on board that Sean might not be able to have the time or the wherewithal to do it, Kelly. So a
lot of phone calls.
Yeah, and
emails.
People saying yes?
Yes, they are. Actually, we've almost met our goal. We got 2 new sponsors this last Friday. We have, as our Starlight sponsor, we have 12 Tribes OMAC Hotel Casino. And we have, for the Moonlight sponsor, Fibonacci Smile. So thank you to those guys for jumping on board and caring about this event. They're very excited.
And thanks for the DeCamps for allowing you to do this.
Yeah, we're really excited for the new location. They've always provided boxes before, but this location is going to be in your face. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be accessible for people to make donations that night when they just want to drive by and drop off any kind of financial donation.
We've talked about this before, Sean and Kelly. This is a new location. It's going to be here at the Save Mart parking lot for Night in the Box. Why the move? Why the move from the Encouraging Words parking lot to here? What brought that on board?
Yeah, well, we used to have it down on the avenue and in the Encouraging Words parking lot, and that had a lot of people driving by all night, honking, woohooing, just dropping a donation off as they drove by and saw it and wanted to make a difference, or seeing the fires and wondered what's going on. And then when we got our new building, which is off of the avenue, which is good when reaching homelessness for the community the rest of the year, but to have a fundraiser that's more invisible is not the best idea. So we wanted to be out in people's faces and let people know they can help and join. And so we feel that Save Mart is the best location for it.
And it is. You get 40,000 cars a day drive by this place, so people are going to notice come Friday night. Yeah. Certain sense of urgency here. It's just a couple of days away. What do folks who've been lollygagging about Night in a Box, what do they need to know now, because it's just a couple of days away? Let's give them a sense of urgency, Kelly.
We need you to register. We need you to sign up and give a donation. We do have upfront donations for all the signups this year because it's a fundraising event this year, along with awareness.
Yep.
And we have a box contest, right, Sean? They probably need to start working on that if they're going to enter.
Yeah, you don't want to show up last second and expect to get the amazing surprise that is actually going to be available to you. And, you can see Visconti's right over there. Well, they are making sure that whoever has the best box, whether it's decorated, weird, maybe it's a triple decker, who knows, but Visconti's is going to have a special blessing for those that win that competition.
Now, the boxes are going to be supplied. In years past, you brought your own box. You could decorate it any way you want or not at all. But if the boxes are being supplied, you just come here to Save Mart and said, I'm doing Night in the Box. Can you give me a box? How does that work?
Well, the best idea is actually we have a pile of boxes that Save Mart has continued to supply up to this point. So anybody goes by the Lighthouse Christian Ministries and they just grab any of the boxes that are set out, or they can call me, knock on the door. We will get you boxes. And one of the best ideas is to get a box that fits inside another box. It's kind of like that double insulation for your coffee mug. It will make you more comfortable. So make sure you do not go light on the boxes or the decorating.
And these are big boxes, because these are boxes that the appliances came in and things like that. So they're pretty roomy, all things considered.
Refrigerators.
So,
Washer and dryers.
It makes it so much easier not to have to bring your own box.
That's right.
Yeah, and then we're going to tear down all the boxes here. We'll have a truck right on site that we can put them all in, so they don't need to walk around, because Michelson Packaging is letting us recycle them all.
Cool. Good for them.
Yeah,
Good for them.
and they're our parking sponsor. So if you come to donate, you can come through. We'll have some people on the streets with signage to show you how to come in, just drive through their donation drive-through. But if you are coming to the event, then you pass Save Mart and take the turn into Michelson Packaging, and parking's going to be there. We'll have security overnight in both areas.
This is also a pretty sizable parking lot. This is like twice the footprint that you had earlier at Encouraging Words, and that's actually good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, because there were years that we actually filled that parking lot. When the National Guard helped us set it up, of course, we got more efficient, and we'll have their help this year, but we definitely want to see this parking lot as full as possible.
Let's talk about some specific logistics. You mentioned sign up. Get signed. Yes, you can show up on Friday night and just participate, but they would prefer that you sign up in advance. So how does one go about doing that, Kelly?
Yeah, so we have a link at LCA Wenatchee on Instagram and on Lighthouse Christian Ministries Facebook. So there's a page to just take you directly to the sign up page. We also have some details there. And those that are signed up by Thursday at noon, I am going to send them instructions and more details. My email is on there. If they have any logistical questions, they can either put a comment in Facebook, like we've had some volunteers sign up that way, but we need your contact information, or they can email me and we can get them signed up.
And one of the reasons that they want people signed up in advance, you need a head count, because you're going to feed people Friday night and Saturday morning, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to know how many people are coming, what to prepare for, as well as people need to sign up in advance, like she said, so that they get the information, like where do I go, what do I do? We don't want people just showing up and saying, where's a box? We don't have them at this site. So, we want people to be informed with what they're doing, and we want to make sure that it's a fun event instead of a torturous event.
Well, there will be fires out here. Yeah, it's going to be cold, but it's November, so as long as you dress warmly like the three of us are, you're going to have bonfires out there to keep you nice and warm, warm beverages, coffee and hot chocolate and stuff like that, and a program. Well, in fact, why don't we close with this, Sean Arrington? You're not just going to sit around and talk to your neighbors. There's actually an organized program of some kind or another. Sean, why don't you tell us about that?
At 7 o'clock, really, everything starts off. So we have the Women's Service League that is preparing a chili cook-off, so it's nice to get warm inside and outside. And then we're going to go into a time where we actually hear from people that got off of the streets. In fact, some of them are people that got off of the streets through the Night in a Box event. It's not just this fun event. It actually has seen people get off of the street that night. And so they will share their testimonies, they'll share encouragement. We want the Valley to be encouraged that homelessness is not a problem that is growing and becoming more unstable. We want people to know that people are actually being helped in our Valley to stay out of homelessness permanently. And then at 10 o'clock, we really prefer, after people have some networking and some sing-alongs and fireside time, for the quiet time to start, because if you're in a box and you're cold, the last thing you want is that really loud guy next to you going woohoo all night long. And then in the morning we wake up at 6 a.m. to biscuits and gravy from Adelman Chiropractic and a good team of volunteers, and then the cleanup starts without you, so they can leave all of their junk. And the fun thing is anybody that has blankets or sleeping bags, anything that they use that night that they just want to donate, we'll have a place, a truck that they can put all of that in, and we will give it to people on the streets the next day.
And the whole idea is to put yourself in the less fortunate's shoes. You don't really know what it's like to be homeless in the wintertime in the Wenatchee Valley until you do it for less than 14 hours and you're going to go,
It's small.
We got to do something about this. And that's the whole idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be a clear day in 22. I mean, that's balmy.
It'll be perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it's been -8 before.
We used to do it in February, but we had less participants. And so at 3 degrees, a -7 chill factor, and snowing, enough people asked me to do it in November that I lost some of my sense of adventure.
Sean Arrington from the Lighthouse Christian Ministry and Kelly Kennedy from Impact Events. That website one more time to get folks signed up.
Yes. LCM Wenatchee.
LCM Wenatchee if you're on Instagram, or Lighthouse Christian Ministries if you're on social media for Facebook, or the quickest way is to go to WenatcheeLighthouse.org.
That's simple enough.
Yeah.
There you go.
And most important thing on Friday night, have some fun.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you get too cold and you back out, we won't shun you for it.
We won't even know.
The lovely and talented Kelly Kennedy and the even lovelier and talented Sean Arrington here from the Save Mart parking lot. Have fun on Friday night. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Are you caught in a conflict with a family member, in the workplace, or with a neighbor or business? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on topics like conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us at 509-888-0957 or www.wvdrc.org to learn more.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Don't stress, just save up to $200 on select tires with financing at our Les Schwab Fall Tire Sale. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
We're back to wrap up this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 28 degrees, clouds and fog. And if you're just joining us, a rather interesting weather anomaly occurred on Tuesday. Our high temperature, 30 degrees yesterday. Our low temperature, 28 degrees. You heard me correctly. That was it. Didn't quite have the burn off of the clouds and the fog. And this probably the most interesting thing at all from yesterday, from Tuesday. We got to 30 degrees at 11:40 in the morning yesterday, and it stayed at 30 degrees until 4:30 this morning. Never moved off that 30-degree mark. And we may be in for that again. Now, the clouds and the fog are prevalent, except if you get up to the higher elevations like that. I'm pretty sure that's Billy Go. Earlier we had a shot high above Black Mountain, which is above the low clouds and the fog. This is typical, not of the one. That's the Black Mountain view we're talking about. This is typical of January and February when we get that air inversion. Not so much in November, when the weather is usually fairly active. But it ain't. Next week, it will. Things will start changing on Monday and Tuesday with chances for light snow here in the Wenatchee Valley. And there is a good chance of some significant snow in the Cascades on Wednesday, the big travel day. If you're heading over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house, it could be pretty dicey in the Cascades 1 week from today for Thanksgiving weekend. From the National Weather Service, you may have to ignore some of the graphics because they're not accurate. For instance, for tomorrow, you see the sunshine, but it's cloudy. So anyway, we're hoping for some sun breaks this afternoon at a high of 34, 24 for the overnight low. Sunshine tomorrow? No, it's going to be cloudy at the high of 37. We are hoping for some sunshine. It's in the forecast for Friday and Saturday. Slightly warmer on Sunday. Things become active and rather interesting Monday and Tuesday of next week. And that's it for us. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.